predict, predict, predict. So, let's dive into the word predict. As a verb, it means to forecast or anticipate something that will happen in the future, often based on evidence or past patterns. In common usage, people use predict to talk about weather forecasts. For example, the weather report says there will be heavy rain tomorrow, so I predict a long day ahead of us. They also use it when they're making educated guesses or speculations, like, I predict the team will win their next game because of their strong offense. One special note is that predict can sometimes have a slightly more formal tone than other verbs, especially in writing or professional contexts. This might make it sound a bit more serious or scientific, so be aware of that when using it in your own language. Let's say we're having a discussion about weather forecasting, job markets, and economic trends, and I'd like to illustrate how the word predict can be used in different contexts. For instance, in a formal setting such as a news conference, a meteorologist might say, according to our latest research, it is predicted that this winter will be particularly harsh due to an anticipated drop in temperature by 5 degrees Celsius. This usage is typical of academic or scientific reporting where precision and objectivity are crucial. In a casual conversation with friends over coffee, someone might remark, I predict we're going to run out of croissants again if we don't order more this week, remember last time? Here, the word predict is used in an informal way to express a forecast or expectation based on past experiences. It's a lighthearted and conversational tone that suits everyday interactions with friends. In a business context such as a company meeting, a CEO might say, we predict a 15% increase in sales revenue within the next quarter due to our new marketing strategy. This usage is typical of corporate reporting where predictions are used to make decisions or justify investments. It's a more formal and professional tone that suits business settings where credibility and authority are important. So, you want to know about this idea of predicting something? Well, when we say that someone can predict what will happen in a situation, it means they have a good sense of what's likely to occur based on past experiences or knowledge. It's like being able to read the signs and make an educated guess about how things might unfold. The main characteristics of this idea are that it involves using information to make a smart guess, and it's often used in situations where there's uncertainty or something unknown is involved. Some similar concepts include forecasting and anticipating, which all share the idea of looking ahead and making some kind of educated estimate about what will happen next. In terms of how it's used, predicting is like a superpower for decision making. When you can predict what might happen, you can make plans and take actions that are informed by your understanding of what's likely to come. Principle, principle, principle. So, let's talk about the word principle. As a language teacher, I'm happy to help you understand this often misused term. The principal part of speech is noun, and it refers to the main person in charge or a headmaster, headmistress of a school. In common usage, people usually use principle to mean the most important thing or the main point of something, as in the principal argument. This usage can be a bit tricky, because it's different from the more obvious meaning of a school administrator. And that's where things get interesting. Some people might use principle, which is also a noun, but means a rule or belief that guides someone's behavior. So, to make sure you're using the right word and context, ask yourself, are you talking about the head of a school? Or is it the main idea or point you want to get across? Remember, principle usually refers to people, while principle is more about ideas. I'd be happy to help you understand how to use the word principle in different contexts. So, for example, if someone says, "The principal of our school is very supportive," they're using it in a formal context, like during a parent-teacher meeting or on a school's official website. This usage implies that the speaker has some authority, perhaps as an administrator, teacher, or student leader, and is addressing their boss or superior. On the other hand, if you hear someone say, "I'm not going to let my principal be principal for a minute," they're using it in a casual conversation with friends. Here, it means that person won't tolerate someone else bossing them around even briefly. This usage implies a relaxed atmosphere and maybe some joking or teasing among the speakers. In business or academic settings, you might hear something like, "The principal findings of our study indicate." This implies that the speaker is presenting research results to an audience of experts or peers. In this case, principal means main or primary, highlighting the most important point or outcome from a scientific investigation. So you want to know about this important person in charge of a school? Okay. Imagine there's a big building where kids go to learn stuff every day. That's usually called a school. And at the top of that hierarchy, there's one person who makes sure everything runs smoothly and according to plan. They're kind of like the leader or boss, but more focused on helping everyone else do their job well. This person is in charge of making decisions about how to improve the school and its programs. And they often help teachers figure out how to teach things better. They might also be responsible for managing the budget and making sure everything gets done on time. It's a pretty big responsibility. Prior. 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 So, let's talk about the word prior. As a verb, it means to put something first in order of importance or priority. Like if you prioritize your tasks for the day. For example, she prioritized her work over socializing tonight. When used as an adjective, prior describes something that happened before another event or situation, often with a sense of being more important or significant. Think of it like this. The prior agreement between the two companies helped resolve their dispute quickly. What's really cool about prior is that it can be used in both formal and informal writing. But it's generally seen as a more sophisticated choice than other words like before or earlier. Just remember to use it correctly, because if you say something happened prior to an event when you actually mean it happened after, that might cause some confusion. Here are 3 example sentences using the word prior with their respective contexts. In a formal setting, such as an official announcement at a university, you might say, "The student council has decided to make campus safety our prior concern for this academic year," addressing issues like lighting and security patrols. Here, prior emphasizes that something, in this case, campus safety, is given importance over others. This usage reflects the word's meaning of being more important or having precedence. In a casual conversation with friends, you might say, "I was so hungry after my morning run that getting brunch was prior to anything else. Even thinking about the errands I needed to do later." In this context, prior simply means before something else. This usage is more relaxed and conversational, but still gets across the idea of one thing happening or being done first. In a business or academic setting, such as in a meeting discussing project timelines, you might say, "We need to prioritize our tasks, making sure that we have completed all low-risk initiatives prior to tackling high-priority projects." Here, prior indicates that something, in this case, completing low-risk initiatives, happens before another task or phase. This usage highlights the word's importance in indicating sequence and order. So, you're trying to figure out what prior means? Don't worry, I'm here to help. Think of something that happens before another event or action takes place. It's like thinking about your day. You might have breakfast, the first thing, and then you go to work, which is the main event. But before going to work, you need to get dressed, right? So, getting dressed is a step that comes before the more important part of your day starts. That's basically what prior means, something that happens or needs to happen first in a series of steps or events.